Mr. Ambi Parameswaran is an author, a brand coach and a brand strategist. In a career spanning 40-plus years in marketing, sales, and advertising, Mr. Parameswaran helped build numerous brands. He was the CEO of Draft FC Bielka, where he was a key member of the team that turned around the ad agency to becoming one of the top 3 in the country. He has written nearly a dozen best-selling and award-winning books on branding and leadership.
Okay, good. So, can you all hear me at the back? Yeah? Say yes. Are you all awake? Just about awake? About to sleep? Huh? So let me thank MMA, President Mr. Malingam, Group Captain Vijay Kumar for inviting me here. So I have kept a presentation which will start with branding and then go on to personal branding. So broadly the topic is about personal branding, myths and realities. Let's start with what is a brand. Where does the word brand come from? How many of you specializing in marketing here? Everyone's gone to sleep, I think. Hello? Huh? How many of you have heard the word marketing? Okay, more hands. Okay, all of you heard the word marketing. At least thank God for that. Huh? Where does the word brand come from? All of us use the word brand, but where does this word brand come from? Any idea? Someone from the back? Neenga soladinga sir, neenga professor sir. Where does the word brand come from? To burn. Right. So you're a professor. So as a professor you will know. So burn, the word brand comes from a Flemish word called brander. Brander means to burn. So when we're talking of branding, what we're trying to do is get the name into the minds of our consumer. We're not physically burning the name, but we are metaphorically burning the name. And as branding is important because without branding, there is no marketing. Who is this elderly gentleman? Any idea who this person is? At least those of you in marketing would have probably seen his photograph somewhere. Right? Who is this? Any idea? Sir, any idea who this is? Philip Kotler, right. Because when in doubt, you say Philip Kotler. In this case, you're right, it is Philip Kotler. Philip Kotler said, branding is marketing. And if you look at how do you define branding? There's a long, complicated definition for branding, which is brand is a name, term, sign, symbol, design, combination to distinguish your product from that of the competition. This is what American Marketing Association says. But I have a very nicer, simpler definition. Brand is a name that tells a story. A name that tells a story, that's all it is. So each of you technically is a name. What story does your name tell? Right? Think about it. We'll come back to this. Okay? And brand is more than a product. It's images. Brand is intangible. Brand is usage occasion, brand is user imagery. So let's now quickly, without wasting too much time, look at 3 short brand stories. Okay, the first is a story of young MBA like you working in a multinational. Every month he used to get this magazine and everyone in the company used to grab that magazine and look at the last page of the magazine. What was in the last pages of the magazine? Any idea? Huh? Not best performer? Job opportunities, right. Last few pages were the job opportunities. So he said, why can't I do this in a different medium? The medium he was thinking of was? Internet, right, internet. So he thought of this company and he created this product called Naukri.com. Right? And then he came to our agency to create the advertising, And we presented one option which was a very risky option. And we also presented a very safe option, but he said, no, we'll go with the risky option. And then this is the ad which we ran. Can we play the ad? The black patch, yeah.
Sir, report 1. Report 2. What, sir?
Shut up!
Sir, hotel reservation desk on line 2.
Yes, I would like to book a table for 2.
Sure, sir.
Poolside.
Your name, sir?
Hari Sadhu.
What, sir?
Hari Sadhu.
Sir, may I? Yes, write down Hari Sadhu. H for Hitler, A for arrogant, R for rascal, I for idiot. That's right. Now write Sadhu. S for...
Shameless?
This company, Info Edge, is a publicly listed company today. It went public, and Sanjeev Bikhchandani, someone like you, went and started this company, is today a billionaire. That is one followed by, I think, nine zeros in dollars. So you can multiply that in rupees and figure out. Okay, let's look at another story which I was involved with. This company was in the commodity business, right? And they want to get into the brand area. And they launched one brand, it failed. Launched the second brand, failed. Third brand turned out to be a success. It even beat a big multinational brand. The brand I'm talking about is a brand called Santoor. And Santoor today, how big is Santoor compared to Lux soap? Is it half the size of Lux soap? 1/4 the size of Lux soap? Or bigger than Lux soap? It is bigger than Lux. Okay, when I started working on this brand in the year 1994, Santoor was not even 20% of Lux. And Santoor overtook Lux a few years ago. And the advertising has been pretty much similar for many years. We've done multiple variations of this. I think 20 different ads have been made in the same theme. So, boss, play.
कॉलेज बंक करके क्रिकेट खेल रही हो? बताओ तुम्हारी मम्मी को।
मम्मी, बॉल मिला क्या? चंदन और हल्दी के गुण समाए संतूर, त्वचा कुछ और निखारे संतूर, संतूर।
So you saw Naukri, which is built by a very different kind of advertising. You saw Santoor, which is same advertising done in different stories over the last 20 years. The third one is a brand which is a 100-year-old brand, global brand, and they were celebrating their 100th anniversary. So this brand was handled by FCB, which is the American parent company of my old agency. And they said, how do you celebrate a 100-year-old brand's history, right? How do you celebrate it in a different way? So they created a new campaign, which actually was one of the pioneering campaigns on social media. Today we all talk of social media advertising. This is one of the pioneering campaigns on social media. Went on to become a big hit and built the brand in a very different way. So the brand I'm talking about is the world's largest cookie brand. Any idea which brand I'm talking about? The world's largest cookie brand. Which brand am I talking about? Any idea? World's largest biscuit brand. Which brand am I talking about? Someone from the back? Oreo, right. Oreo is the world's largest cookie brand in terms of value sales, right? But the world's largest biscuit brand in terms of volume is Parle-G. Right, but this is a story about Oreo, so let me play the video.
Little girls have pretty curls, but I like Oreo.
Oreo recently celebrated a big birthday. Really big. Turning 100 can mean only one thing. You're old. Really old. Unless you give it a twist. The Oreo Daily Twist. A simple idea to make this old brand a vital part of pop culture, the digital world, and everyday conversation all at once. 100 pieces of content created in 100 days in honor of the 100th birthday. 100% responsive. Here's how it worked. Every morning, we searched for what people were talking about and looked at it through the innocent eyes of this playful cookie. Once concepts were developed, there was a full production team ready to execute. By the end of the day, we pushed the twist out to Oreo's 30 million Facebook, Pinterest, and Twitter followers and archived it on Oreo's online hub. How did we kick it off? Well, maybe you heard about that.
Oreos are gay.
Monday night, Oreo posted this on their Facebook page.
It's not black and white anymore. It's pink, it's orange, it's yellow, it's green, it's blue. It's a gay Oreo cookie, man.
But we didn't stop there. And neither did the fans. Feedback was instant and passionate. Every fan seemed to have a different favorite and didn't mind sharing their thoughts. What did we do for number 100? We set up a temporary ad agency at the crossroads of the world, Times Square. We took suggestions live and executed on the spot. In just 100 days, we turned an old cookie into an icon. Oreo didn't just reflect the news, it became the news. And we made 100 years old look pretty young.
So this campaign was rated as the campaign of the year, etc., got written about in Wall Street Journal, Harvard Business Review covered it in a special article, etc., okay? Now, the question is, consumer is becoming more and more intelligent, more and more smart. So will brands continue? So now Klein wrote a book called No Logo. And she said consumers become very intelligent. Why will they pay $50 for a Nike shoe when the same shoe made by the same manufacturer is available in Walmart for $10? So he said Nike, the kind of brands will die, but that's not happened. Actually, consumer has become more and more logo-oriented, and therefore, Economist wrote this cover story called Pro Logo. Right? So brands are everywhere, and brands are there because consumers love brands. It's not that only marketers like brands, consumers love brands because consumers save them time, saves effort, and gives them a pride of badge value. And we, of course, as marketers like brands because it gives us trust, it gives us loyalty, it also gives us a better margin to work with, right? So, can everything be branded? That's the next question. Everything, in a sense, products, services, retailers, online, people, sports. Which is the biggest sports brand created in India in the last 10 years? IPL, right? Big sports brand created in India in the last 10 years, right? And we are going to talk about one particular aspect of branding, which is people, which is every single one of you, right? So let's now jump into the world of personal branding. Now, we think personal branding is a bit of a fad. It's now people are talking about it. It's all newfangled stuff. And some of you students may think, personal branding is okay for celebrities, is okay for CEOs. You may think that's very, very complicated. Or is it just more social media boasting, taking selfies and posting it? Well, hopefully in the next 10 minutes or 15 minutes, I will try and debunk some of these theories. So let's start, right? Harvard Business Review covered personal branding in its cover story last year, said how to build your personal brand. And personal branding, Harvard Business Review says, is an intentional strategic practice in which you define and express your own value proposition. How many of you read or have read Harvard Business Review? Right? So some hands here. You have to, Harvard Business Review today allows you to read 5 articles per month for free All you have to do is hbr.org and you can read the articles, right? So this article is available. This article I talked to you about is available for all of you to read. Okay, but let's jump ahead and go. And what Jeff Bezos says, your brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. What do people say about you when you're not in the room? That is your personal brand. So personal branding is a topic on which I wrote my last book, which was published in October 2022, called All the World's a Stage, a personal branding story. I've set this whole story in our IIM Calcutta campus, where Mr. Mahalingam and I spent 2 years trying to learn management. And so it's about 5 people walking around the campus talking about personal brand. And all the words are stage, and all the men and women are merely players, said William Shakespeare. So let me jump and say, I'm going to debunk 7 myths of personal branding. The first myth is that personal branding is something very new. Personal branding is something which has happened in the last 10 years because of all this social media and LinkedIn and all that stuff. Truth is, personal branding is more than 25 years old. The first article on personal branding appeared in a magazine called Fast Company. And the article is written by a management guru called Tom Peters. The first article, he said, you are a brand. It is up to you to figure out how to manage your brand. So just like Oreo is a brand, Naukri is a brand, Santoor is a brand, every single one of you is a brand. It's up to you to decide, including the gentleman there sleeping. Just wake him up. What is your brand name? Good morning, sir. What is your brand name? தூங்கிட்டாரு பாவம். ஓகே, நல்லா இவ்வளோ சாப்பாடு கொடுக்கக்கூடாது சொல்லியிருக்கேன்ல உங்ககிட்ட. Every one of you is a brand. Okay, it's up to you to decide how you manage this brand. That's the first myth. Second myth, personal branding is only for CEOs. What am I? I'm a management trainee. I'm an account executive. I'm a sales executive. I'm a finance executive. It doesn't apply to me. The truth is, it applies to every single one of you, because each of you is a brand. You have your image, you have your mission, you have values. If I were to say each of you have a personality, you'll agree, right? All of you have personality, right? So therefore, personality with one coating is your brand, and every single one of you is a brand, whether you like it or not. The third is, people say, "Arey, personal branding though happens on its own. I am a hardworking man or a hardworking girl. I work very hard, and my brand will get built. Right? Why should I do anything about it? I wear good clothes, go to office, work hard. My brand will get built." But the fact is that in management, of course, we use these quadrants very often, right? 2x2 quadrant. You remember 2x2 quadrant? Yeah? You remember any 2x2 quadrant you remember? When you did in your B school? 2x2 quadrant? No? Huh? நீங்க சொல்லாதீங்க சார். 2x2 quadrant. So there is Ansov matrix, there is BCG matrix, right? So this is a simple quadrant. On one side is your personal branding, on the other side is your competence, ability to work. So you can be a very good, very competent person, but have no personal branding skills, which means you will get promoted in the normal course of time, maybe 2 years, every 3 years, every 4 years, right? You may be not very competent, and you may not do anything about personal branding. Then you will become a survivor. You will be hiding somewhere in the company. On the other side, you may be very competent, right? But you also manage to project your personal brand. Then you become a star. So remember, competence and hard work is critical. Without that, you can't succeed. But along with competence and hard work, if you also understand how to build your personal brand, you will be able to succeed even more. You will get promoted that much quicker. You will be given a better assignment that much quicker, right? So combine competence with personal branding in order for you to succeed. Let's now move to another area where people say personal branding is nothing but bragging. I went for this conference, I gave a talk, I did this, I did that, right? Now, bragging is not personal branding. Of course, if you're Muhammad Ali, you can brag, right? Because, if anyone contradicts him, he'll bash him up. So, Muhammad Ali says that it's not bragging if you can back it up. But the truth is, for all of us, bragging is bad. But if you achieved something, talking about it loudly, talking about it proudly, and talking about it strategically can help you build your brand. If you're sitting and negotiating a deal for a sponsorship of, let's say, one of the IPL teams, and you spend half an hour explaining how you scored 100 runs for your cricket team in your school, it's not going to help you, right? It's going to cut a very sorry figure. So remember, be proud, be loud, but most importantly, be strategic. Figure out when to talk about it, right? And the other simple technique about bragging without being bragging is that don't talk about yourself, talk about your team. How your team achieved this, how 3 of us together did this project and it turned out to be a success. So talk about your team. Coming to the next area, personal branding networking is for losers. The usual problem we have is going to various events, distributing cards, right? And we think we are building a network. You heard the previous session with Lakshmi and Ganesh Chala talking about the importance of having mentors, right? Who do you go to, right? So let me tell you a little story about Microsoft. Which was the first breakthrough business which Microsoft got? Any idea? Which was first breakthrough business? Today all of us know about Microsoft, saying OpenAI, etc., etc., etc. Yeah? Operating system for? What is the first project? OS for which computer? What is the first project they got? Which was the operating system called the DOS. What is DOS? DOS. Disk operating system for a computer called IBM PC. IBM was launching a PC. They got the project to do the DOS for IBM PC. How did Bill Gates, sitting in Boston, get a contact with IBM to get a project to do the DOS machine, the DOS operating system? The story is, apparently, that Bill Gates' mother, Mary Gates, was a pretty successful entrepreneur, and she also was on the board of a not-for-profit company called United Way. And in United Way, one of her board members were a person called John Ackers. So in one of the meetings, John Ackers knew Mary Gates, so she asked Mary Gates, your son, where is he, Mary? I mean, you've been talking about him, he must be in college. So Mary said, well, yeah, he went to Harvard, but after 1 year, he dropped out. So he said, oh, so what is he doing? Well, he is in the garage, and he's saying he's doing software. So John Ackers tells Mary, look, our team in IBM is developing a what is called a personal PC, home PC. So can you ask him to come to New York, and I'll put him in touch with our team working on IBM PC. So young Bill Gates goes to New York, and he gets introduced to the IBM team working on the PC, and he gets the project. He gets a project to develop the disk operating system, right? And when I checked a few days ago, Microsoft's market cap is 30 times that of IBM. How did he get this introduction? Because his mother built a great network. And that network helped him get the introduction. So just as, Lakshmi and Ganesh have been telling you, you have to develop your own panel of mentors you can go to. And those mentors could be your professors, could be your school friend, could be your father's friend, could be your brother's friend, but you got to have a diverse network. The importance is you got to have a set of 3 or 4 or 5 people who you can go to for help. And that's a lesson you learn from Bill Gates' story. And thank God his mother had a great network. And Bill Gates was intelligent enough to listen to his mother and go and meet the IBM people. If he had said, some of you will say, right, okay? If he had done that, he'll be still sitting in the garage, right? And not be worth whatever, how many $100 billion he's worth, okay? So map your network, put down your name, put down all the people in your network, right? Personal branding is too complex. Who's got the time? It's so difficult. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. Anyway, I've got so much things to do, so many parties to go to, you know, so many cases to read, so many submissions to do, right? The truth is, you have to find the time to build your personal brand. So start with just thinking and saying, what are you? Can you define yourself in 3 or 4 words, right? Articulate, communicative, analytical, hardworking, humorous, multi-talented, dynamic, innovative. Put down 3, 4 words and then ask someone you trust. It could be a friend, it could be a professor, it could be someone, a colleague working with you, saying, is this correct? I may think I'm a very communicative person. I can make great presentations. Okay? Maybe I'm not good. So you have to ask someone, saying, am I good? Am I good? Am I creative? Am I analytical? Am I communicative? Get that feedback. And then once you've decided what are your 3 or 4 words which describes you, then live that. Okay? Expand that, build your brand based on that, right? And there are 100 words available for you to pick from. Pick 3, 4 words, validate them, and live them, right? So that's the 6th myth. The 7th, of course, is people say that, you know, personal branding is only social media. That's not true. Social media is only one bit of personal branding. You have to decide who are you, what are you, how are you going to build it, and then comes personal branding. Personal branding is everything that you are, right? What are you? What are you good at? How do you present yourself? How do you dress yourself, right? How do you talk? How do you behave? And finally, what you do on social media. So don't let that confuse you that every day I post something on social media and my brand will get built. It will not get built, right? So that is the 7 myths we've looked at. Is personal branding a new fad? No. It's more than 25 years old. Is personal branding only for CEOs? No. It's for every one of us. Is personal branding, will it happen on its own? No, it doesn't happen on its own. You have to do it. Does personal branding, networking is lousy, is all useless? No. Networking is extremely important, right, in personal branding. Is personal branding too complex? No, there are simple 5 steps, which I told you about. And is personal branding only social media? It is not, right? Personal branding is a lot more than social media. So as a young management trainee, can you make a difference in the company you join? Right? All of you will be joining various companies, right? How can you make a difference? So here are some simple tips for you to take away. Always listen before speaking. Listen before speaking. Second, ask questions. Don't get tongue-tied. Just because you're standing in front of the CEO, don't go ba 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 ba. Okay, be ready to ask a question. If you don't understand something, ask a question. Take any assignment you're given with a smile. As a management trainee, you'll be given lousy assignments, I assure you. The toughest assignments. Take the assignment with a smile. And if you don't agree with something, disagree. But don't be disagreeable. Don't be rude. but you're welcome to disagree, and your boss will appreciate you for that. Know the difference between being smart, being human, and being a fool, right? Know the difference across the three. Right, so we are taught that we should do our best and let the world judge us for what we are. What Seth Godin is saying is better do your best and decide how you want to be judged and act that way. Right, so if you want to know more about personal branding in a very easy, readable form, you can find it in my book, All the World's a Stage. It's available both as a physical copy, it's available as a Kindle version, it's also available as an audio book, right? And just to end my little personal branding, so since I'm here, I'm talking about personal branding, I should do a bit of personal branding myself, right? So this is a book I wrote on facing rejection and bouncing back, which was published in the year 2020. It was nominated for the Tata Business Book of the Year in 2021. And of course, my book, Nawab Noodles, which was published in 2016, which I think MMA invited me to come and deliver a talk on the book that year, right? It was rated as one of the 6 books to read during the lockdown by Harish Bhatt of Tata. So I'm grateful for his recommendation. It was also a finalist in the Crossword Book Awards. And these are the list of my 11 books published over the last 20 years, right? And some of them are on branding, some of them are facing rejection, some of them on leadership, some of them are personal branding, right? These are, 11 books. I have done 2 podcasts. One is on Sponge, which is a leadership lesson book I wrote, and the other one is on brand conflicts, what is called, Last Brand Standing. We had 6 episodes about famous brands fighting, Surf versus Nirma, Tata versus Maruti, etc. And I also did a YouTube series. I interviewed 25 CMOs, and it's all available on the Brand Equity YouTube channel. And of course, I write regular columns. I do book reviews for the Hindu Business Line, and I also write a monthly column in Business Standard and an occasional column in Economic Times. I must have written, God knows, maybe 200 plus articles. So with that, let me just tell you that these are the brands which I've been proud to have been associated with. Covers a whole gamut from Tata to Amul to multinational brands like Abbott and Johnson & Johnson and Cadbury. Right, so thank you very much, and with that I finish my talk. Right, ahead of time we've got 10 minutes for questions. If you're awake and you're energetic enough to ask questions. Otherwise, thank you very much and have a great convention.